CEX versus eBay versus Vinted. What's good about them? What's bad about them? I think it's only fitting to actually have a discussion about it. I also have a couple of pickups from two of the actual sites that I've actually mentioned, so that's pretty cool. That's something to stay tuned for. But yeah, which one's good? Which one's bad? Which one's ugly? I don't know. We should have a discussion about it because I would love to actually hear your thoughts and opinions down below as well, because it is rather a fitting topic right now. Like I said, going back on my previous video, I have been having issues with just CEX in general. It's more of an in-person thing because I can't be actually finding games or games I really want to collect for the systems I really want to collect for, which is the PS3, PS2, etc. I haven't been finding anything decent in person in any CEX brick and mortar stores for probably the turn of the year. I've had a few game pickups from it, but nothing absolutely crazy or astounding, which is really just, it's interesting, but it's not a good thing either. And that's sort of drove me to actually making this video, because I want to see from my own personal experience and yourselves how you find actually game collecting right this second, because it's just becoming, I wouldn't say an issue, it's not a problem, but it's opening my mind up to be like, right, okay, things, I have to change things. I have to be maybe a little bit different into how I actually collect my games, how I actually source my games. So we're going to go through the pros and cons of CEX, eBay, and Vinted. Also, shout out to everybody who has subscribed recently. Thank you so much. We've just hit over 1,700 subscribers. Utterly insane numbers, by the way, so thank you so much. We are now on the road to 1,800, so yeah, if you consider subscribing to the channel, you like the style of content that I produce, great. Leave a comment, leave a like on the video, because it helps the channel out so much. And if you haven't done so already, my Instagram is down below in the description if you would like to follow for behind the scenes updates on just random stuff that I get up to here in the games room and just here in life in general, really. Don't know what I'm doing with my hands, but we're going to go with it anyway. So like I said, we have two packages that actually has arrived today, which is very quick, I have to say. It really has been. These came from one from eBay, one from Vinted, which is quite fitting for the video, which I will get to very shortly. I just want to do the talking part first, and then we'll get into the good stuff, because these are actually really good games in here. These are games I've been looking for a long time. One very uncommon PS3 game as well. Stay tuned for it. So the pros and cons of each sort of like main, I would say main websites or main places to buy games: CEX, Vinted, and eBay. Now, when it comes to CEX, you have the ability to go into a brick and mortar store. You can have a look round with your own eyes, with your own hands, touch stuff, touch cases, have a little look at actual physical condition of the games you buy, and you can also just take in and have a look at the actual physical game in front of you, which is a massive bonus, and it is a huge thing, especially for me, game collecting wise, because I like to go into, you know, stores. There isn't many stores around me at all. There's about 3 or 4 CEXs that I can go to within like an hour drive, but actual physical game stores or independent retailers, nothing, absolutely nothing. This is why this sucks for me, because the stock in CEX has been so woeful for the stuff I collect for since December, January. It's turning into a problem. But you can go into their physical stores, have a look around, and you will probably buy stuff that you didn't actually think you'd want because you saw it there in person, which is pretty good business mind from CEX to actually do that. But again, it's a benefit for me. I enjoy that part of game collecting so much. I really do. It's the personal sort of like style of it, I guess. It's a huge pro in my opinion. It really is. You also have the CEX website, and to me it's a massive tool of actually searching and researching games that I really want to buy, having a base value for prices. People say CEX dictate the price of games. Yes and no. On my research for this video, I would say CEX are relatively cheap compared to certain other websites we will get into. And when I say cheap, I would say, you know, their base price for like any sort of PlayStation 3 game under, I don't know, 30 quid is a pretty good price, especially compared to other websites that I'm going to actually shout out and actually speak about. So pricing wise in CEX, I would say it's very competitive now. I really would. I wouldn't say they're over expensive. I would say they're actually just on the nose, on the money. You also have the trade-in system where if you buy, games from charity shops or anything like that, you can trade them in for cash or voucher, which is a great system that the other two do not offer. And it's a nice way to build up voucher credit. So you have, for argument's sake, you spend £10 on games from charity shop and you trade them in for £30, you get £30 worth of stuff back for your £10, which is amazing. It is a really good service that not many or any real stores or websites actually offer. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I don't think any other sort of like game shops or anything like that offer it. So it's a very good idea, and it works brilliantly. I have to say, it works absolutely fantastically. Yes, we will go into some of the cons, and that would be quality control over their retro games, or actually all their games, really, to be fair. It can be very, and I mean very, hit and miss. You will get games that are the same price. For argument's sake, you will have Tornado Outbreak on the PlayStation 3, £75, but you'll have one next to it that's complete with manual, Happy Days, absolutely pristine condition. But then the one next to it is going to be a cover reprinted, no manual, just disc, essentially. That's all you're paying for the same price. And then you'll have one who's just a normal case, no manual, and disc, same price. All three of those games, somebody mentioned this in a comment in my previous video last week, which actually really hit home to me, which I didn't actually think about. All those three games are the same price, and there's no way to differentiate why or what you're going to get. So the quality control is very hit and miss, and it's not great. It's not. If we're being honest, it is not great. I know there's a fellow YouTuber, another normal Yorkshireman, shout out to him. He's had a few issues with PlayStation 1 games, which, again, because of their quality control and how actual rare these games are, it becomes a more pain in the backside for us collectors, us game players, collecting on PS1 or whatever, to actually get these games in good enough condition. It doesn't matter whether they're pristine, but it's just in good condition. That's all you ask for. Complete good condition, nothing stupid or outrageous, nothing water damage, nothing, burnt, for Christ's sake. You just want the same continuity of quality control. That's what you're asking for. You're not asking for much, just having the same. And I feel like CEX just need to have the same parameters per store. I know there's franchise stores, I know that, but they should still just have the same parameters to work towards, because then you'd have that continuity of care with the actual video games itself, so you know that you're going to get X, Y, and Z. It's going to be in X, Y, and Z condition. Happy days, job done. So in regards to CEX as a place to get my games, I've got most, I would say, of my games off CEX and using their voucher system, because it's a very good system to use, and it hasn't cost me as much money it would have just to buy these games in general. So again, website wise, once again, I would say it's a useful tool to use. However, you do pay postage on every single item you buy from there off the website, which some people would say is an issue, and I would be some people. £3 per item off the website is ridiculous, especially when some of your items may be bundled up with like 2 or 3 other items from the same store. You're paying the £3 postage, which isn't new. Everybody knows this, but everybody just sort of like, you just suck it up and get on with it, I suppose. I do. I'm not, preaching. I do the same. I'm just saying it's not a good thing at all. The money that they would obviously I don't know if they're making much money off the postage, if I'm being honest, but I feel like if you're going to be doing like a, I don't know, £50, £100 order off the website on CEX, you should get either free postage or you pay for just one batch of postage for your whole order. I feel like if you're buying X, Y, and Z sort of like amount of money from CEX, they should offer that as just a, an added bonus, as it were, but they don't, and that's an issue. In my opinion, that is an issue. I could talk absolutely hours about the pros and cons of CEX, because it's the video game store. It's not. It's a it's a electronics store, I suppose. It sells everything, but for me, predominantly, it's a video game store, and I can speak hours upon hours about the pros and cons and the goods, the bads, the uglies. There's a lot to digest there. There is. And I want to know people's opinions down below in the comments, because I'm just talking from what I know and my own experiences as well, and what I've seen on YouTube as well from other people's experiences. It's hit and miss. It's a great tool. It's a great system. But I think some of the implementations are just not quite there. And then we go on to our friend eBay. We'll go eBay first and then Vinted. eBay is interesting. I buy very few games off eBay. I probably bought 10, maybe 20 in the last year, and that is maximum. I find on eBay it's a lot more difficult to find, I say, bargains. Yeah, I would say it's more difficult to find bargains, or things for good prices, because everything is priced up as CEX or above. I've seen a heck of a lot of games recently, especially over the last couple of weeks, because I've been looking on eBay a lot more, because there's nothing in my local CEXs to actually look for. The games I'm finding, it's usually the cheaper games, like your £10s to £20 games. They're a lot more expensive on eBay. Even if you add postage from buying these games off CEX's website, they're still coming in cheaper than what they are on eBay, which is interesting to me, and it's not a good thing going forward. Yes, a pro for eBay, you do get to see the condition of the games. You get to see whether they're completely manual. You know that before you purchase the games. You can see that, which is absolutely fantastic. That's something you cannot do with CEX. You can do that with eBay. You can see the games you're buying. You can see the purchases, and you can see the condition is, well, as much as you can with eBay and photos. You can see the condition of the games you buy. I have one game behind me that is a PlayStation 1 game that came from eBay, which was a decent price. It wasn't a great price, but it did come included and posted. I think it was £10, maybe a little bit more. I can't remember. I think it was £10 total, and that is a good price. It's in good condition from what I could see on the pictures. We will actually unbox that right now to have a little look and see what I'm talking about. So here we have the game in question. This came straight from eBay. This was a pickup, I believe, on maybe Thursday, Friday last week. Can't remember. It's one of the days. So with eBay, the postage is usually very quick. I ordered something else on Friday and it came today, which is Monday as the time of recording. So I had the weekend, and usually postage to where I live usually takes about at least another day or so over like first class. So if it was first class, it takes a day. Usually takes about 2 days to get here. So postage wise on eBay is fantastic. I cannot fault it. Stuff usually comes very quickly, which is juicy. That's a juicy bonus. I have to say, it's a juicy bonus. If you're following along with this video, drop a like on the video. Consider subscribing to the channel as well. Like I said, we're on the road to 1800 subscribers. I would love every single one of you. I do anyway, but I would love it, the new people here who like the sound of my voice. But anyway, this came from eBay. Now let's speed this up. Tell you what, it's in pretty good postage stuff. There we go. Packaging. There you go. You got the packaging. So we're just gonna get into this. So we're in, and by first impressions, it is as described, which is fantastic. It is a PlayStation 1 game, and it is a game that I've been looking for a very, very long time. But it's not uncommon. It's not rare. It's just a game that I haven't found for a decent price and in good enough condition for me to add. So I will show you it in just a wee second. That disc is absolutely insane for a PS1 disc. Jesus Christ. That's impressive. That is really impressive. Oh my god, the condition of this is insane for what I paid. There's a crack in the back, but I knew about that because I saw the photos. But without further ado, this game came from eBay, which is Tomb Raider. It's the big box version. It is the double dual case version of the game, and it is in very good condition. It's got some sticker residue. That's fine, don't worry about that. It has a slight crack, if you can see it on the back. You might be able to see it because of the light, but I knew about that anyway. But I tell you what, the inside of that, yeah, this is in really good condition. The PlayStation 1 disc is probably the nicest PlayStation 1 disc I think I've seen in a very long time. Usually they're fairly scratched, which is, again, apparent to the actual age of the games. But, yeah, no, this is really good, really clean clean and tidy. I'm not sure whether this actually came with 2 discs. I'm fairly certain it didn't, but let me know down below if it did or did not, because I don't know. But yeah, that is really good. So that turns me back to what I was saying about eBay. You know what you're buying, you can see what you're purchasing, you can see the condition to the best of your ability you can anyway. And yeah, this is just prudent. And with PS1 games, you tend to find them quite bad when they turn up because people don't tend to package them very well. But off eBay, I haven't had too much of an issue. Obviously, you're going to get your horror stories, you really are with everything. But yeah, not bad whatsoever. I'm happy as Larry with that. That's in really good condition. I think that was the last Tomb Raider I needed for my whole Tomb Raider collection off all systems. I think there is a couple that I want to switch out because they're platinum versions, but we'll get to that at some point. I'm really happy with that. That's epic. So that really sums up eBay as a whole. You probably pay a little bit of a premium on games, but usually, I will say this loosely, and usually you would get better quality or better quality control than you would with CEX. That's for damn sure. So maybe it's worth paying the premium. I don't know. Again, that cost me £10. I believe it's around a £10 to £15 game. I didn't really get it on a great deal. I got it on an okay deal, which I was happy about, and that's the main thing. If I'm happy to pay it, then it doesn't matter. It does not matter whatsoever. Then we have my best friend, or it was anyway, which is VINTED. Now, VINTED, I have been using this service for the best part of nearly 2 years now, and over the last 6 months, I would say I've slowed down a heck of a lot with my buying of VINTED because everybody and their nan now knows about it. It's not something niche. It's not something that everybody doesn't know. Everybody knows about it. Everybody's using it. Everybody's trying to buy games off there. So with VINTED, you get buyer protection. So if you buy something off there, you pay an extra, like whatever it is, 5%. I can't even remember what it is. It's a tiny bit of money. You get buyer protection. So if anything goes skew with, or you don't get your games, you get your money back. Happy days. So with the pricing on not eBay, on VINTED is quite interesting. So you'll buy a game for £2, you pay your buy protection fee of that, which would be like 50p, and then you have to pay postage on top, which will be, I think, the least you can pay is like £2.40. So you'll be all in for about a fiver on a £2 game, maybe a bit of change left, not much, but a bit of change left. Maybe not, I can't even remember. So the pricing system is, you have to take that into consideration when you're buying these games, if it's actually worth your time or effort, because games might be cheaper on there. You know, for argument's sake, a £10 game might be £6, but by the time you've actually bought the game and actually paid the postage, you're in it for £10 anyway, so it's not actually that much cheaper. So these are things you have to consider on VINTED. And there is a fair few horror stories, and I've had a couple of my own personal horror stories also, is with people packaging on VINTED. Some of them can just use anything and everything, and they don't care of how those games or whatever you buy of VINTED actually turn up to you. Like, I've had a couple that have been in just the weirdest things ever, and I don't really want to get into it, but just weird stuff. But alas, it's the type of clientele and the people that sell on VINTED, I guess. So, you know, you might get them for cheaper on VINTED, but you do have to, it's the pros and cons again, like I said. The pro being the games are usually cheaper on VINTED, but the packaging and the actual like security of your games being posted, they can come up damaged, they can come up discs missing, they can come up anything. So that is something to look out for VINTED. I've used it, like I said, for the last 2 years, and I have had so many good bargains on it. So many. I've literally lost count of how many bargains I've had. Had a few recently with like PC parts and everything like that. And the next game that I'm actually about to show you came from VINTED. So this one right here is packed pretty well for a VINTED parcel. It's just in a padded envelope, which is cool with bubble wrap and everything. This is a very uncommon PlayStation 3 game. There's only one in stock in CEX right now, which is quite surprising. So I didn't even know that at the time I actually bought this. I paid £10, I believe. So with fees, I'm looking just under £15 posted, which is all right for me. It goes for about £25-30. So I'm not going to squabble with that. That's a good price. It is a good price. And it came, well, as you can see, it came quite goodly packed. I'm keeping that in. That is what it is. It came well packaged. There you go. Better English. But yeah, this is pretty cool. I'm going to obviously open this up now, just because I want to show you what I actually picked up as well. So only the 2 pickups this week, which is what it is. It's a bit of a slow one because I've changed the way I buy my games. Let me just put the disc actually back in the holder. Is the disc in good condition? Yeah, it's in good enough condition. It's not too bad for a PlayStation 3 disc. Slight crack at the bottom, but that's okay. So without further ado, this is Midway Arcade Origins. Now this is a game that only flew up on my radar quite recently. I know you have this one, and then you have like the other arcade game, arcade something. I can see the picture of like the doll on the front of the face. Can't remember what it's called. It's a bit more expensive than this one, I think. But these are cool. It's just 30 arcade games in HD on disc on PlayStation 3. There's not much more to say about it, but it is getting more uncommon. Like I said, I didn't actually know that there was only one in stock in CEX system at the time of recording this. So yeah, this one is complete with manual and it's in good condition. It's a very good condition. I paid, like I said, I paid £10. So with fees and everything like that, it's about 14, maybe £15 total, which is pretty good. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy enough with that. That's a very good purchase. It's an uncommon PlayStation 3 game that I haven't seen, and it looks pretty cool. It really does look pretty cool. So I'm happy with that. That came from Vinted. So you can still get your bonuses. You can still get good deals on there. You just probably have to be a little bit more patient or a little bit more thorough in your searches. Pickups this week, we have 2. That's all we have. Because I'm slowing down with the collecting side, because it's a lot more difficult for me to actually find the games that I want. I like to buy, the cheaper games that I see in person, like the 5, 10, 15 pound games. But if I buy them online, they're usually a lot more. That £5 game turns into a £10 game with postage. That £10 game turns into a £15 game posted. So yes, obviously you have to pay for your postage and everything like that, but you have to take that into consideration when you buy stuff online. You do. I know this is a very talky episode, and if you haven't enjoyed that, I apologize, but I think it's very prudent to actually discuss these things. I really do. So we've got 2 games, Midway Arcade Origins and Tomb Raider. That's all I picked up in the last week. But again, I'm happy with the PlayStation 3 game because it's an uncommon game and it's a cool game. That's just good. And Tomb Raider, I've been looking for that for ages in just good condition. You find a lot of them, but I haven't bit the bullet until now, so I'm very happy with that. It's a very good one to have. As a sum up to this video, there is pros and cons to everywhere you go. I would say, for me personally, it would go as a tier list, or if we were going to rate these places, I would say Vinted is up there for getting good deals and actually cheap games. I would say that's probably the top one. CEX would be very similar or on par if I wasn't having issues in person going to their brick and mortar stores. If I could still find my games, in person and actually find decent amount of games as well, I would be more than inclined to put them top because they are. The website's good, the trading system's very good, but again, you're paying postage for every single item you buy, which is not good. It's really not. So again, I would go Vintage, CEX, and then eBay probably is not my favorite place to buy games. It's a lot more difficult to find great deals. It's just one of those. It's good enough. It is, but it's just not my own personal favorite. I prefer Vinted. I prefer buying games of CX. Even if it is the website, I still do that because, to be fair, they usually come out quite cheaper than what they are listed on eBay, which is odd to me because I always thought CX was more expensive, but here we are. So please guys, let me know your thoughts and feelings down below in the comment section. If you've enjoyed this video, drop it a like. It helps the channel out so much. I know this has been a very talky episode. If you've enjoyed that, let me know and we could do some more because I do like talking. My voice is starting to go now though, which is quite interesting, but here we are. But yeah, I think it's prudent to talk about. I would love to hear other people's thoughts and opinions, but again, if you've enjoyed this video, drop a like, leave a comment down below your thoughts and feelings. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. And for now guys, take care of yourselves. Goodbye.